Hello everyone, welcome to my review of Batman Under the Red Hood. The movie was released direct to DVD, a video, on July 27, 2010, 15 years ago. It grossed $12 million in sales, well deserved. The director is Brandon Vertel. Sorry if I butcher anyone's names, where are we going? Who did work for the Batman 2005 show, not the movie starring Robert Pattinson. Judd Wicks, who did The Wire. He's a comic book writer, which includes some Batman ones, which is actually very awesome for the guy comic book writer to do this, and I think that does help with the quality of the film. I'm not gonna lie, I think that does help a lot. The music was done by Christopher Drake, who did work on Batman Year One, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Batman Arkham Origins, and Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate. I also like to mention one of the producers is in fact Bruce Timm, just because when people talk about Bruce Timm, it's usually the DCAU and the Killing Joke. Well, sometimes like the Monster Universe that he tried to kickstart, and of course now Cape Crusader, but people don't really mention what his other fingers have touched in terms of work, so I've had to bring that up. I usually don't cover producers too much anymore, but I saw his name when I was watching Forbidden Crimes. I'm like, really? I didn't know Bruce Timm was involved in this in any way, shape, or form. So again, I want to mention that because it's usually not one of the full projects people talk about when they talk about Bruce Timm. So, and I also like to go over some voice casts really quickly. Batman's portrayed by Bruce Greenwood, who also did Batman and some other projects like Young Justice. I wasn't sold on his portrayal of Batman at first, but as the movie went on, it grew on me. And it's not my favorite Batman by any means, but it's a good Batman. It's definitely a good Batman. Jason Todd's played by Jensen Ackles, who played Batman in other projects like Long Halloween and Dean in Supernatural.
I'm Batman.
After watching 15 seasons of Supernatural, you can't tell by the sound of his voice that it's Jensen, but you can tell by the mannerisms that it's Jensen. And like, the first scene with Red Hood, like he raised his voice, I'm like, that's Jensen, that's 100% Jensen. You can tell. Especially since I watched 15 seasons of Supernatural somewhat recently. Nightwing is played by Neil Patrick Harris, who played Spider-Man in the new animated series and Child Dimensions. Black Max is played by Wayne Williams, who played the Burning Rock Warren in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Killer Croc in Beware the Batman. Lastly, Joker is played by John DiMaggio, who also played Bullock in Cape Crusader, Forms, Wrath, Armadillo, Vampire, Dagon, and Akiko in the Ben 10 series, and so some of the series he plays those characters, sometimes he doesn't. It just depends on the series. And when you say John DiMaggio, he's a great actor, great voice work, but when he said John DiMaggio Joker, I don't know how I felt about that, really. But watching it, seeing John do his thing, this was a good pick. And he does do his version of the Joker very well. And it's like John DiMaggio also did all works besides Bullock and DC characters and stuff like that. But again, specifically the Joker, it was just hard for me to imagine, so he definitely blew my expectations out of the wall. Which, again, I don't think I've had performance I dislike by John DiMaggio. Maybe he plays too many characters in Ultimate Alien, so I'm kind of sick of his voice. If that's the only negative I can really have, and that's not really his fault. That's Ultimate Alien wanting to save some money and have him play a bit too many roles. But other than that, it's not like there's a war I dislike what he has done. So I don't know why I doubted my man on that. But anyways, now we can get on to the review. Rachel Gu regrets working with Joker, who is currently beating up Jason Todd, Cohen Robin with a curveball. Batman is rushing over, but he was too late. Joker left the building when he is hurling Jason and blows it up, killing Jason. I love the animation of this movie so much. It's very good. The lips of some characters in terms of art style, which art style is different from animation, it's a bit distracting to me. It's hard to explain, it just looks a bit funky to me sometimes. But other than that, this movie looks beautiful. It's very well done. 5 years later, a man in a red hood is trying to take over the drug trade by demanding that Black Max connections shown him. He offers protection from Batman Black Max, also known dealing to kids. Red Hood shows that he is serious by dropping the heads of drug dealers' lieutenants on a table. That seemed to convince them, hey, let's leave Black Max and Joan but Red Hood. Batman's chasing down criminals in a fun truck takedown. The truck is carrying Amazo, who's a cyborg but can absorb the powers of superhumans, and he's freed. Nightwing is here to help. Amazo is a beast and it's a very fun fight scene. The criminal said he is working for Red Hood to steal Amazo from Black Max. Batman chases Red Hood in the Batwing after he killed his goons. Also too, I really like the characterization of Red Hood so far, just for the sake of he clearly does what he needs to do, obviously by cutting the heads off of people and shooting them as they start to spill the beans. But also, like, he still has a moral compass where he goes like, hey, no giving any drugs to kids, don't do that stuff in that Breaking Bad show. None of that. We won't have that here. If you want to do that, go down to New Mexico. But I do like that. So, like, you can blink and miss small details like that, but it's nice subtlety that if you pay attention you can pick up on and enjoy it. But it's the small details within the sands of the story that are piling up that really does make this a great movie. Red Hood led Batman to the chemical plant where the first Red Hood got turned to the Joker, which is very common knowledge that happened in that specifically chemical plant, which is not odd because depending on the continuity, what show, movie, well, that's common knowledge or not. So there you go. It's common knowledge of this universe, or at least Batman's aware of it. This new Red Hood knew about how Joker came to be and blew up the chemical plant. Batman and Nightwing visits Joker Arkham Asylum. Joker says he knows nothing. Batman roughs the Joker up after Joker mentions Jason Todd. But Batman seemed like he was gonna kill the Joker, but he backs off. Black Max is very upset that Red Hood is getting in his way, which is a bit of an understatement to say very upset, to be honest. And he wants Red Hood dead. They dead. Batman and Red Hood both bug Black Max HQ so we know where the next shipment is gonna be. Red Hood tries to steal the shipment, but Batman and Nightwing stop him and destroy the shipment helicopter. We get no fun Red Hood chase scene. Red Hood seems to know what Batman would do before he does it. And there's small hints too about the Red Hood's identity, like how both him and Batman got the same idea about bugging Black Max's HQ. It's obvious who Red Hood is, but for a movie that is 75 minutes long, there's only so much build-up and character build you can do to be like, oh my god, who this Red Hood character is. But it's astonishing how good they can do with foreshadowing, and even though they do a lot of these small details, that something honestly what inspired me to want to do this with you is how bad the portrayal of Jason Todd was in Arkham Knight. Terrible. Terrible. I know each continuity has its own adaptation of characters and everyone's gonna like the adaptations, but I never seen I feel like they just wanted Jason Todd in that game and don't understand why people liked Jason Todd. That upsets me greatly because this movie does it so perfectly and the game just missed the plot. Nightwing's leg gets injured in an explosion. After reviewing the footage, Batman found out that Red Hood called him Bruce, which is blocked by a train hood beforehand, and
you haven't lost your touch, Bruce!
I like to think that Red Hood purposely just looked at the train schedule. It's okay, I'm gonna stop at the train station at the exact time. So he will review the footage and find it out later. I like to think he knew that because he knows Batman. So you can't argue part convenience, but I just like to think he was one step ahead. Which, is obviously part convenience, but still, it's kind of believable. I feel like he would do something like that. Batman's remembering Jason as Robin, the similarities between him and the Red Hood, so he puts two and two together. Black Max is, at this point, beyond upset about Red Hood and wants Red Hood beyond dead, and so he decides to hit him back, shooting up places where Red Hood owns and stuff like that. Red Hood gets attacked by people in robot suits. Batman shows up and helps Red Hood. Red Hood kills one of the people in the robot suit. This upsets Batman. Red Hood questions Batman's methods of crime fighting. Batman tests Red Hood's blood after the fight, those left behind the fight, to confirm that yes, that is in fact one Jason Todd. Red Hood tries to kill Black Max but fails. Black Max wants to talk to the Joker. Jason's body in his grave was replaced with a fake. Black Max wants Joker to deal with Red Hood, and Black Max, as a person, just in general, sorry, that just reminds me of like the YouTube thumbnails when it's like whole fan reacts to whatever. It's just like person reacts to Black Max making a bad deal. You know, after Joker's just silently killed like all your men in your room with you guys, maybe don't hire a psychopath. Like, I know you say in the movie that was gonna be a Wix, but after that specific moment too, maybe you should reconsider your life decisions. Be like, you know what? I get someone else, someone a little more predictable, because probably not a good idea. Batman goes to Ra's al Ghul's place. Ra's al Ghul tells Batman that he brought Jason back to life via a lasso because he felt bad for the Joker killed Jason, because it was a pointless death. There was no purpose to it. It was just pointless bloodshed in Ra's al Ghul's eyes. And then Jason returned damage after being brought back. Batman blames himself for Jason's death and for the current Red Hood situation, says he's using what Batman taught him. Joker put Black Max and his men in a truck with gasoline to bathe Red Hood. Again, Black Max, I can't probably trust him after he killed off you, man. Just saying. Joker sets the people he kidnapped on fire, but Batman comes and puts the flames out. Red Hood and Batman fight over Joker for like the layers of time. Red Hood escapes with Joker and crossbar him. Batman remembers when he first met Jason and Crime Island. Batman and Red Hood fight in a great scene. Batman thinks that Jason has become another criminal, but Jason sees himself as the bad Batman. They are fighting in a bathroom with no door. You just had to get in via the window, which is a very fascinating architectural design. Jason isn't upset that he was killed. He admits he forgives Bruce, but what he's upset about is that the Joker is still alive.
Bruce, I forgive you for not saving me. But why? Why on God's earth is he still alive?
Not to shit on Arkham Knight any more than I did during my playthrough of Arkham Knight, but they introduced Jason Todd in the worst possible way after the Joker was killed. So all you have was Jason being mad that Batman let him die, and they let him in a way that made him sound like a whiny teenager but didn't get what he wanted. And they made Jason Todd counter Batman's morality, see the flaw in Batman's no-kill rule, and saying, this man has killed so many people. He was about to set like 15 people on fire just now. And the fact that you let this man live. This man. No, I'm not, he goes like, I'm not talking about Penguin, I'm not talking about Dent. He goes like, this man who has done so much death, so much destruction, who has shot Barbara on the spine, pretend to be a piece of delivery man, kidnapped Gunn, so excited. He goes like, I thought my death would be the thing that would get you to kill him. He goes like, and it wasn't. And he goes like, that upsets me beyond belief. Batman says it would be too easy to kill Joker, but if he does that, he would go into a place where he cannot come back from. Batman knocks Jason out after not playing Jason's game of choosing to kill him or the Joker. Jason sets the place to explode, but Batman and Joker live. The movie ends with one last flashback of Jason becoming the first Robin, showing that like Batman and Alfred are still all gonna remember the good times with Jason. And I really do like that. I like this movie. Again, for like to adaptate the story of Red Hood so well. And again, I think that's why having our comic book Wild as the main Wild genius, beautiful. To for a child to do all this small stuff to make everything feel so natural, and having the right actors in the right places definitely help. Because when I think of Jensen Ackles, I think of Supernatural, I think of CW, and the CW is not exactly known for his quality work. No offense to Jensen, I like Jensen as an actor, I really like his portrayal of Dean, but like that's kind of the mindset I kind of think of. And man, I didn't expect him to voice act so well. Like, I really did. But the dude is talented. And again, I'll explain, like, I didn't think John DiMaggio, I didn't know why not John DiMaggio could pull off a Joker. But he did it very well. I don't know what else to say. Like, this is a great movie. This is an excellent movie. And really shows why Red Hood is fascinating. He is proof that there's a flaw in Batman's mode, that the Batman going woo might not be so going after all. That makes a character interesting, is that it is an opposite of the character, of our hero, a reflection of a failure on our main character's part. And that's what makes Red Hood interesting. And I think somewhere along the line, but Arkham Knight missed that. Which again, it's not like, oh, Red Hood versus Arkham Knight, this is his own review of Under Red Hood, but again, the failures of Arkham Knight inspire me to want to do this, to talk about Jason Todd in a much more positive light. So with all that being said, this movie gets a 10 out of 10. So, if you like this review, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this review, give it a thumbs down. And hit that subscribe button if you want to see more for us content in the future. And I will see you all next time. Bye.